not sure it's ours.
So tell me when you're ready. Are you a music conductor before this job?
Pretty good.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of Laconia Conservation Commission meeting for August 6th, 2025. I'm Dean Anson.
Deb Williams.
Bob Harrington.
Jen Kreitzer.
Scott Palchat, I'll be taking minutes tonight.
Okay, and Scott is our staff too. So we're going to start off by saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have a quorum, and the first item on the agenda is to review the minutes from July 23rd, 2025.
They seem a bit light.
I don't see the minutes.
These
Oh, there.
are the minutes. It's just, it's kind of light.
Everything seems to be in order.
The, under 7, the 141 Hardglen Lane, it says we reviewed the application. I didn't think we had the information. Like, I know we have it tonight, right? But I don't think it
Yeah,
was,
I think it was on here last time.
I'm not sure it's the same
Yeah.
one? Was it this? I feel like we didn't have the written information.
Well, why don't we do this? Let's, so Scott, can we approve the minutes from the 23rd of July and then do the review of Harglen Lane tonight?
Well, it's on our agenda.
I know it's on the agenda, but,
Yeah.
but we can't approve the minutes without saying that we
Right.
didn't review this. We can say that the application was incomplete.
Yeah, you could do it that way. So with that, you could technically approve the minutes with kind of the condition that this application is gonna be reviewed tonight, and whatever is written in those minutes could convey to the next set of minutes pertaining to this application.
Okay.
Or kind of like a side note to say, see the next agenda minutes for regarding this plot of land.
Okay, okay. You wanna do that?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so,
An easy way to do it.
so we have the minutes from July 23rd. Does anybody have any comments?
I mean, we did spend most of our time going over the wetland regulations.
Right. And the wetland regulations that we went over, we
Right.
gave a paper copy with all the handwritten comments.
Right, but I
Right.
feel like there were announcements that were made and things under new business that, or other business that are not on here.
So what we could do is table these minutes and ask staff to, ask Ray when he comes back from vacation to go through the video and see if he can add some more
Yeah.
details to
And
these
that's
minutes.
an aspect you can do as well. You can say, hey, feel these minutes need another look-through, we'll table them, and then both the minutes from tonight and these prior minutes will be reviewed again and approved possibly at the next meeting.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we table these minutes from July 23rd until our next meeting.
Second.
Okay, and Bob seconded it.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, so next item on the agenda is 141 Hardland Lane. So we have the application here. So why don't we review it and,
So they're not making a presentation? Correct?
I did not hear of Hardland Lane coming up tonight.
Okay.
so this is a shoreland permit application that goes to the state. And once the state approves this, then they have to file a permit application with the city because they're going to impact the wetlands.
Not being as familiar as I need to be with that application, I'm gonna attempt to be as cautious as possible.
Makes
My
sense.
familiarity with Hardland Lane, it is in the SPOD area. Whatever permit they file back with the city, they'll have to meet whatever criteria is linked to wherever they are on the property. So if they're impacting that 50-foot shoreland buffer, if that's part of that property, again, it'll be taken up through the application process. So if, normally what would happen, say, if I live on Hardland Lane and my property is impacted by the water, I submit a building permit. Upon review, if it's found I need a variance through zoning, that's asked for. Anything else that's caught in the review process, we then reach out to the applicant to say, hey, we feel you're gonna impact this buffer or this setback with this building. For the DES criteria, I don't know what they've asked for in the DES permit for the builder to utilize, so.
Okay, so one of the things that they have is included with their application is the conservation checklist
Yeah,
with no comments on the checklist, like submitted, not submitted, not applicable. None of those boxes are checked, so I think once they get their approval from the state,
Yeah.
they should come before this commission to describe their project.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like they're tearing down the old house, putting up a new house. So they're increasing the square footage. But then they're taking up some of the driveway and making it pervious, which is nice, because it looked like, when I read through this, it looked like the driveway went right down to the lake.
Down to Pickerel Pond.
Or-
No,
Pickerel
Pickerel
Cove.
Cove.
Pickerel Cove, yeah.
yeah.
So they were gonna take that part out and then put in pavers, which
Yeah.
is a good idea. yeah, it would be nice to hear some more.
All right, so I've got a side note here. Conservation Commission would like the property owner to present their proposal to the commission.
Sounds good?
Right. Good. Okay, anybody have any other comments?
I think last week, we did kind of briefly discuss this at, or the last meeting. I think there was a question too, if there was any impact with the community beach, because there is
Right.
note about that, so I don't know if that's something that we need to just look into a little
Because I feel
further,
like
or-
that driveway is maybe for the community that goes down to the beach, did that? I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. It would be nice to get a lot more clarification. And I'm sure they would be able to do that, so.
Bob, do you know anything about this area or property?
No, it's all new to me. I've never been up in that area.
Okay.
Yes, it is a tricky area due to the railroad tracks and double switchback that comes, if you go down Chattel Cove, the rail goes one way past Chattel Cove and then it goes back over Pickle Cove. So it's kind of like, and Pickle Cove is in there and Chattel Cove is in there as well, so from the map, it looks like those are affected by that overlay. But possibly not.
Yeah, I mean, they may be just north of there too. It's hard to tell with this map,
Yeah, and it's,
so.
are they accessing it through Channel Lane, or are they accessing it through Hilliard Road? That's another question, how are they getting there?
I think they come down, the way I would get there is I would come down Hilliard Road, make a left on Hard Glen, and they're down on the, they must be almost the last house on the right-hand side.
Yeah, cause there's a couple of long drives down there that are gated. I'm not sure if it's association access or what, but could be.
Okay, so what do we want to have as a motion?
I'll make a motion that we ask the homeowner to come and present for us before we can make any thoughts, any ideas to him, so that we know exactly what we're looking at.
All right, Deb, so I'm gonna summarize
You
this.
can rewrite them.
Deb Williams made a motion to have the homeowner propose to the Conservation Commission to allow for opinions to be made by the Conservation Commission.
Or suggestions.
Okay, yep, I like that better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't think of it right.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody want to second that motion? Okay, thank you, Bob. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, I don't know that we need to discuss the wetland regulations anymore, or the checklist. Do we need to talk about those anymore?
I think when Gray gets back, we can ask him if he's had a chance to put those together. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we need to discuss it tonight.
Okay. What do you think,
I think that sounds good.
Bob?
What?
What do you think about postponing a discussion on the checklist
Oh,
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
wetland regs until
Yeah.
Gray gets back?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Because Gray got a paper copy, which would require him to retype sections and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't wanna usurp any of his great work that he's done prior, so.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Trying to learn a few things as we go, actually.
Okay, so the next item is the Gale Avenue Rain Garden under new business. And that's, I got an email today from Cindy O'Connell, who is an employee of the Winnisquam Watershed Network. Winnisquam Watershed Network got the 319 grant to do work on Gale Avenue. And Cindy asked that we keep track of how many hours we spend as individuals on the project, and if we have any expenses, she needs receipts so that she can submit them to the state to get reimbursed. And she said that for the rain gardens, we have a budget, and it's allocated of $500 for vegetation, to buy the plants that go in the rain garden. And as of the last time I spoke to Wes Anderson, the plan, his plan is to start work constructing the drainage improvements on the 18th of August. And once he's finished, then Parks and Rec will come in and add the soil and prepare the site for the rain garden. And then the Conservation Commission will do the plantings of the plants for the rain garden. So that's, and when,
Should we wait till September to do the plantings? Because, I mean, I don't know, people don't usually plant in August. People don't usually plant in August. I don't know if we should wait until it's,
Yeah, of course, it depends somewhat on what you're planting, but,
right,
yeah, and what condition it's in. If you're planting bare root, it's not a good time, really.
right. Lisa would know that too. She's
Right.
good at that.
When is Wes starting that construction on that, did you say?
the 18th of August,
18th, okay, I missed that.
and I think he will, his part will take about a week. I think Amy's
Yeah.
work will probably take another week, and so I think we're gonna have to come up with a plan for watering the plants. And maybe what we can do is ask the local residents to,
Plenty of water down there.
yeah, use the lake water.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think we need to get a little bit better organized, so I don't see that we'll be planting. I would hope you would plant later than September, depending on what the weather's like. Maybe we plant in October.
Yeah.
I mean, we could stick some annuals in there just to make it look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space savers,
Right,
you know.
Yeah.
right, along
And
with,
even if they prep the soil, you know, for what's to come, what does it hurt, you know?
what do we wanna use? Do we wanna use mulch? Specific kind of mulch?
You know, I think we need to get that detail worked out with Amy. I called her today, but she's on vacation. So I think we need to find out from her, because I think her side of the budget would include the mulch and the soil. And our part of the budget is to buy the plants. But,
know.
you know, we need to get it firmed up so that we,
And when they start digging up, are they gonna use silt socks around that site?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And cover any dirt that's there? I mean, you're talking runoff right to the lake.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
precisely
it's-
the problem.
Yeah, I believe it's gonna be just inside the SPOD, cause that runs the whole length.
So what does that mean?
Shoreland Protective Overlay District.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that, you know, they have that 50-foot buffer that the city has, then the state has the 250-foot shoreline buffer. So the ordinance on procedural aspects for down there compared to, say, somewhere else that doesn't have that overlay may be different. Staff will have to look into that to see what kind of movement is different from just, say, a common area beach to that SPOD overlay. I think it's just vegetation removal and stuff like that, but if you have a plan, then,
I don't think they're gonna remove any vegetation unless it's grass.
yeah.
The trees there are large oak trees. We're not gonna do anything with those, and there's some
Yeah.
alder that are right down on the shore's edge, and,
And those are in the water itself, so
Right.
that would be,
right.
at that point, I think it's DES, right? What's
but they
in
would
the
be-
water?
I mean, they're gonna be digging where the rain garden goes. I mean, there'll be that dirt. They'll be digging those troughs, right?
Okay, so I think what we have to do is, have a conversation with Amy and Wes, and I know that both of them are, you know, this is like their busiest time, so they're, if we could have, maybe if what we did is we put together a write-up asking for certain things versus, you know, we wouldn't want to have a lengthy meeting for sure, but I think when
I
I've,
mean, and I'm sure they probably have a plan. I just would like to know what it is.
oh, okay, I will bring the plan, that the engineer for, who was the engineer working for? The engineer was working for either DES or Winnisquam Watershed Network, and he's going to be on site during the construction. Wes specifically told me not to have anybody on site when he's doing his work, because he said he's going to have large equipment, probably backhoes.
Yeah, and it is pretty compressed down there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's either you're turning on to, what is that, Winnecoash, or you're right there at the Gale,
Right.
so.
So I'll bring the,
Well, when I say plan, I mean a plan for, you know, what they're gonna do with the dirt, say. What they're gonna do with their you know, because if it's a several-day procedure, they're gonna have to cover dirt, or they're gonna have to have some kind of temporary buffer there.
okay,
Because when you do the rain garden, you're gonna scoop it out and you're gonna put it on that low side, that dirt, but it needs to be
Yeah.
protected with something.
okay. So I'll bring the plan as drawn up by the engineer,
I'm not sure it was on there, though, but
and
that
it's,
we can look at it.
yeah. All right, I'll bring it to the next meeting. Sorry, I didn't even think about doing that, but anyway. So the next meeting is scheduled for the start, which is after they start. And so maybe what I should do is bring the plan to Scott. And actually, Wes has electronic copies of it.
Okay,
So, I'll bring the paper copy I have, and then you can run that, see if, Wes has electronic copies that you could distribute to the commission.
so your ask is to have Wes give me the copies that he has.
Right.
All right, I will work with
Or
Rob
Gray.
on that.
I was,
Okay.
To see if we can attain those.
Because Wes gave me, he printed his electronic copy and gave it to me.
Yeah, but that's the one you need, though, is the one that Wes has.
Yes.
All right, so as soon as I get that, then it would come back to all the staff on the
Great,
commission.
okay.
So I'll work with Rob on getting that tomorrow. I believe he'll have to reach out to Wes to request that. But once it's gotten, it should be an easy distribution back to you all.
Right.
And nothing from Amy's side? Does she, any plans that you need from her, or just kind of, you just need more of a point of contact to see where she's at?
Yes, I think, it's, Wes and Amy are supposed to work out their schedule because the two of them have to coordinate. And I think Wes feels it will take him less than a week to do his work,
Okay.
weather permitting.
What I may do tomorrow too is just reach out to both via email, if possible, just to say, at the conservation meeting last night, the Gale Ave came up. They're looking to formulate a plan with both of you as it draws towards the 18th, or the start date.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Good,
That
good,
sounds good.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so are we done with Gale Avenue?
I have one more question.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, on that.
Sure.
I know you and I had talked in the past about like a donation thing. Are you still proposing that?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we get a cost estimate for the vegetation? And then we'll know, because we have $500. I didn't realize that we had $500 until today.
Yeah?
So,
Gotcha.
I would think we would be able to get native vegetation for $500. The question is whether said vegetation will be available.
Available, yeah. So it's kind of more stay tuned, see what
Right.
happens. Yeah?
Yeah, okay,
And
so,
Lisa would know a lot about that.
yeah, so
Excellent.
we can ask Lisa to help us out with that, because she knows all the points of contact for
I love
native,
it already.
native vegetation that is appropriate for a rain garden. Okay, so the next item is report for city council. So Deb and Lisa both had their interviews for their reappointment to the commission. So Deb, why don't you tell us about your interview?
It was very nice. I had 3 councilmen there, and Nancy Brown from downstairs. They were very attentive, very inquisitive. But the one thing that they asked for was that we come before them once in a while and report on what we're doing, things that we've accomplished and actually what we do. Because they said they are, they have numerous committees in the city that never give them any information, and they have no idea what some of the committees do. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, they were very, very positive about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nice interview.
And Lisa told me essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So, to address the city council's question about what we do, Deb and I kind of put together a list of projects, and that's this handwritten.
Yeah. Excellent.
And I talked to Rob Mora.
Yeah.
And the planning department submits a report of what's done on a monthly basis to the planning board.
Yeah,
And I think it also goes to the city council.
I believe so.
So, I told Rob that what we would do is we would try to use his format when we do our list of projects.
Yeah.
And he said we could either append our list to the planning departments, or we could send in our own. So I think what we should do initially is send in our own, so that the city council understands, you know, that we have listened to their requests for information and that we give it to them, so.
Okay.
So this is a list, not necessarily in chronological order, but it is a list of what we've done. And so I think if we give them a list like this, maybe flesh it out a little bit more, and then if they want us to come and talk about it in more detail, we can come and talk about it. But not send them a,
Yeah, I agree, because if you get this is your projects. If there's anything I see on here that would warrant a talking point, then yeah,
yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
So, why doesn't everybody take a look at this, see if they
Well-
think changes should be made?
Yeah, I would like to just flesh it out for everybody really quick. So we revised and update the wetland regulations. Update water, what did you mean when you put that down?
Update, so there was the, so we had two parts to the wetland regs. We had the wetland regs, and then we had, and I forget the title of the other document that we did, but,
Oh, the overlay for the city? The,
I,
We had well, this was the Wetlands Conservation and Water Quality Overlay District.
right,
That was the
Yeah, because that's,
the regulations,
that was the
right?
that's the
Regulation.
regulations, right. And what's the other one?
Well, we worked on the checklist too, but, in the NRI. I don't know if we had another.
I'm not sure, just wait, maybe you were thinking of, I had, water quality, but then you have that down further. Water sampling,
Mm-hmm.
water quality sampling at O-Pee-Chee and Pogus. Adopt a spot, that's by the O-Pee-Chee bathhouse, we could specify that. Pollinator gardens on the Wow Trail and the signs. Gale Avenue Rain Garden. NRI chapter of master plan, is that what you meant?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, it's called natural resource chapter.
okay, chapter of the master plan.
and
And
on
our-
that one, Tyler did mention to mention to you that there is an RFP for the natural resource inventory out to bid.
Right,
We saw it in the paper.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got any feedback back, but he did mention that that was a talking point he wanted referenced tonight.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Thank him for doing that.
Yes.
I'll call him and thank him.
And then, the Lake Coast program. So I would say program instead of just Lake Coast on Messer Street. We've attended New Hampshire Lakes Congress. I was thinking of the New Hampshire Association for Conservation Commissions also,
Right, okay. I think
for trainings. And along with that, a lot of us look at Zoom presentations online. They have the Lunch and Learn program. What else did I have? We participated in the environmental fair. That was in May. That was the townwide fair. Right. Those are the big things I could think of.
I suppose we should put in there that we review permit applications. I mean, that,
Yep,
that's our,
that's our main job.
I was gonna say, that's our primary job.
And we did update our conservation checklist, like Jennifer said.
The other thing we did is we connected FB Environmental with the water department
Right,
so that FB Environmental got a permit, no, they got a grant to do the study and then to install sampling devices for cyanobacteria.
right. That was important. I think that's a good start.
And I think, with the exception of I guess with no exceptions, that's what we've done this year.
Yep.
You think it's appropriate for us to ask for a raise at this point?
Well, somebody's gonna have to. So, now looking at this list, this is pretty heavy duty. Looks like a lot of work, so. So I think what I'm gonna do on your primary list that you submitted, I'm gonna submit it just like that. And then, when I write the minutes, I'm going to transpose this onto the minutes and then add the rewrites that you want on. That way you have the original to the new.
Sounds great.
And then, I don't know, again, I may stick this right in the minutes as its own standalone, so that way it's there for reference.
But we shouldn't release this to the city council or to the
Well, I'm
planning.
gonna forward it to both Rob and Tyler anyway.
Okay,
This list, they'll see your add-ons in the minutes, and that's how I'm gonna email it to them, that this is what you would like to go to planning board and potentially city council as the hard work that your team has done.
It
Right,
was,
but-
it
but-
was city council, it wasn't planning board,
Okay,
yeah.
but, so if he brings it to both, it would,
I mean, it was the city council that specifically asked us for it.
okay, so the
So I think
requester
we
was,
started to talk, I mean, Dean talked to Rob about how they format their updates to the city council. So that's where we were looking for them,
yep,
but,
that's an easy one.
yeah.
but I think my point is that this is not ready to be released to anybody. This is a first draft, and we need to flesh it out a little bit more, and we need to perhaps better organize it so that,
Okay, so do you wanna hold off on this then?
I don't want it to go to anybody else. You can put it in the minutes, that's fine.
Right. But you don't want me to email it to Rob or Tyler or anybody
No.
yet, just to say,
No, I think, I don't want to create confusion, and I don't think it's ready for prime time yet.
yeah, it's a lot of work there. But, it'll be ready when you say it's ready.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Did you get, is there a specific template that they use for when they present to the city council, when planning board presents to the city council?
We did get
Yes,
that.
yes, and because of the constraints that we have, I can't send it to everybody. Do you have the format?
I don't
Okay, I will send Scott the format, and then you can distribute it to everybody so they can see what it is. It's the planning department's report that goes to the planning board.
Yeah, so it's just a
Goes to the
generalized
planning board,
template.
not the city council?
I don't think it goes to the city council. Well, I'm not certain, but it's addressed to the planning
And
board.
I can ask that question too, who does it actually go to
Okay.
when I'm in office tomorrow? I can say, hey, this was the ask, you know, what say you, and we'll go that route, so. Again, if you have already talked about it with him, I'm sure he's already on board, ready to go, and. so,
Right.
And then, yeah, once you send me that, if you want me to disperse it to the rest of the commission, I can do that.
Okay, I will do
Or
that.
I can always, if I'm not available to do it, I can ask Ray as well, who's back in tomorrow, so.
Gray's in tomorrow?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
But,
unless his flight's delayed. He was coming back tonight.
yeah, and that's,
Right.
Right.
yeah, a lot of stuff happening out there today.
That's it. Nature is,
Watch the news for 5 minutes and,
It seems like every day.
yeah,
Especially with the heat and the smoke, it has affected the flights,
yeah.
so.
okay. So anything else on our list of projects? And if anybody can think of any other,
Yeah, Lisa might have some others to add, so. It'll be good if she can see this, if we get it sent out.
yeah. Okay. Okay, liaison subcommittee reports and upcoming events. I think the only upcoming event that I know of is Gale Avenue and,
Did you wanna talk about Pearly Pond?
yes,
Oh, okay, okay, you were waiting.
I was gonna do it under other business, but,
Okay, cause I can do, upcoming events.
oh, okay, you're on.
Okay, so so the New Hampshire Association for Conservation Commissions does a monthly lunch and learn, sometimes it's a couple times a month, at noon. You just sign up for them, and it's just a Zoom. It's great. It's from 12 to 1. You can have your lunch while you're watching. But, so this month, or I guess starting on, in September 23rd, they're gonna start focusing on, recycling. So the first one is September 23rd at noontime, and it's Recycling 101. On October 8th, they have a program on foam recycling, which will include the people from the Guilford Recycling, because they have a great foam recycling program. On October 22nd, there is a program on clothing waste. And on November 5th, there is one on zero waste and reuse. So I think I get all of the NHACC newsletters. I can make sure that, like Jen, I don't know have you gotten them yet?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so I can make sure that you have that link,
Mm.
and then you can send
Okay.
it out to everybody.
Are they all noontime start time?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's, you just sign up online, it's super easy.
Are they recorded so that if you can't make it at lunchtime, you can watch it later?
I think they are.
I think they are,
have
too.
not done that, but I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Right.
But they have great information in their newsletters. They do a newsletter too, and it has great information, so we'll make sure that you get that link. And do you usually get that, Bob?
Pardon?
Do you get the link, do you get the newsletter from the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll make sure that
Yeah.
that happens, because we should all be getting those.
Maybe you could send the link for the newsletter to Scott, and then he can send it out to everybody, and then,
Yep, I'll do that.
okay, thanks. else?
No.
Okay. So what about the lake host down at Messer Street? Do you have any idea how many boats she's,
Not a tremendous amount. I want to say she's probably up to 300. So, but that's just weekends, and it's just July so far. So,
I think that's pretty good.
yeah. It's been, I think it's been busier down there than in past years. She was there last year also, and I think she would say the same thing. We're just seeing, we're seeing more traffic, we're seeing more people, more boaters everywhere, I feel like. So,
I would agree.
yeah.
And one thing that she observed over the weekend was what she thought was a cyanobacteria bloom. And Deb went over to check it, and what'd you find?
It was filamentous algae, which is, it's green and it floaty under the water, and it looks like cyanobacteria. It does. But you can take a stick and do a stick test. You put a stick in it, and if you pull it out and it's fibrous, where you get some stringy stuff with it, then that's algae. That's the filamentous. If it breaks up like a cloud, then that's cyanobacteria. So it was not the bad stuff, which was a relief as we're testing it and people are letting their dogs like come right in the water. We were like, could you wait just a minute? So, but I had seen that algae before in the river, so it was something I was familiar with. So that was a good thing. Because there's so many different kinds of cyanobacteria. I will say, do you want me to talk about the milfoil people?
I was just gonna ask you to do that, yeah.
Okay. So because I do the boat ramp over at Winnisquam during the week, and there were 2 divers that came through this week that are working on pulling milfoil out of Winnisquam. They have found a very problematic area in the river in Laconia. So it's up right in back of the old Scott Williams building where the Pearly Canal comes out. And between the silt and everything else that is there from that canal, there's a huge, I guess, not a huge, but a large patch of milfoil. And those divers had been diving all around Winnisquam all week, and they felt like that patch was the most problematic to Winnisquam, because it was first of all, I don't think anybody's looked at the river in a few years, maybe. I don't know how often Amy goes up there, because you can't get up there with a regular boat. You have to have an inflatable just about. And
I
so
agree. That current is tough.
it's been, so I think it's been growing for probably a couple years without people realizing it. So, I know that Lisa Eggleston, who's president of the Winnisquam Watershed Network, was going to speak to the city about perhaps some funding to help with that project, because it turned out to be larger than they thought it would be.
So as a question, is it more closer to the city than Eager Island, or is it
Yes.
past?
No,
So
I believe it's,
back. Yeah.
I believe it's right out of Alan Rogers. I don't know exactly where the canal goes under the city and comes out.
Yeah.
I feel like it starts up around Church Street and goes under the city and
Yep.
then comes out there by where the old Alan Rogers was. And I'm sure it was probably the way they
I think
got rid of their
there's
septic
two,
stuff.
two outlets
There are? Okay.
down there from memory. Wes would know better, I believe. He has those underground
Right.
canal plan, so.
Right.
But,
But I think back in the day, that was the sewer system. I mean, it was basically the raw sewer went into the river and then out to the lake. Years and years ago, that's the way cities did it. So,
that was prior to the seventies, right?
yes,
I'm safe.
yes. No, yes, because it was, in the early seventies when the EPA started to give out grants, and Lake Winnisquam was one of the first projects that got funded by the EPA to clean up that lake, because it had
Yeah.
had
Do you
raw
know-
sewage in it, and it was filthy, gross, and
So would that, Winnipesaukee, do you know when the sewer line would have gone in over there?
we don't.
No.
So what happened is the EPA was formed, and Ruckelshaus, who was the administrator of the EPA back in 1970, was looking for a shovel-ready project. And there were several men from Laconia who had done the study of what Deb was talking about, the sewage treatment plant is, that Laconia has, is a combined, so we get stormwater and
And sewer
sewage
together.
go together, and so when we get a lot of stormwater, the plant can't handle all the water, so it just
Goes through,
overflows,
yeah.
goes straight through, messed up the lake. It
Those
was,
big tanks,
yeah.
yeah, were right on the shore of Winnisquam,
and they,
so.
anyway, so they convinced the EPA to build a sewage treatment plant down in Franklin. And the plan was to put the sewer all the way around the lake, Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
But they ran into ledge that would have cost a lot more to break up, put the pipe in, so it only goes, I think the sewers goes from Guilford all the way over to, I don't think it goes to Center Harbor. Does it go to Center Harbor? I think it just goes to Meredith.
I think it goes to
Yeah.
Meredith, I think it might go to Alton too.
Yeah, because I was right, I grew up right on that line, and that would have
Yeah.
been the Alton to Meredith line, so,
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's always interesting, always.
so the outlet that I've seen for that canal that Deb was talking about is the bridge, and I never remember the name of the road that the bridge,
Main Street? Main Street?
I
It
don't know
goes
if
to South Main Street, that bridge?
the one that's over by the hotel.
Yeah, so
That-
that would be coming down Beacon Street West,
Right.
and then if you're walking along, yeah, so if you're down by the motel there, you can see
so-
it from underneath.
So that bridge,
Yeah.
if you take the river walk and walk down, you'll come to a small wooden bridge over that little canal that Deb was talking about, channel, whatever it is. And I think that
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure I
that's,
know the one now.
yeah. I think that's where they're talking about, but
Yeah.
Alright.
anyway, okay.
So if I forward that, I think that's gonna be my first take tomorrow with Grayson, is this topic. That way, he's got something, ready to go from tonight. But,
Right.
And I'm sure it'll come up again, so.
Yeah, 'cause when Deb told me that Lisa Eggleston was gonna come to the city, I called Rob to
Yeah.
alert him so that he was prepared for her to come
So
in.
if we say between the bridge at Beacon Street and before Eager Island, we've pretty
Yes.
much captured location.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
So that was interesting, anyway.
so, anything else?
I have a concern about, is it the whiskey bar? The whiskey bar, or is it the whiskey place that's across from McDonald's?
The Whiskey Tavern?
Whiskey Tavern, is that what it's called?
I think so.
Yeah.
So they have put in docks in the back, and now they also have a beach back there. I'm not sure how they got a permit for that. Because they serve out there, obviously, they have tables and chairs, whatever. They also have a porta potty that is not 33 feet from the lake.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I believe those need to be reported to DES. In which manner, I don't know. So I believe an official complaint
So
would
it's
have to
not the
come
city
in.
that can take care of that?
That's DES. It may be in the conservation regs for the city. I'll look tomorrow.
It is.
Yeah.
So let me speak with Rob Grayson to see how they want to approach that.
Okay.
Again, you're not wrong. Porta potties, I believe it is 33 feet from any, yep, so.
Such a nice round number.
When we had the porta potty at the Messer Street boat ramp, I would be out there with my tape measure, and I was like, oh no, this is gonna fly. So we moved it, we were able to just have Amy request that they move it across the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so that's where it is now. So I don't know if it's
So
as easy as that.
as for the docks, what I know about docks is they're governed by DES.
Yeah.
The beach I can't speak on because I'm just hearing about it for the first time tonight.
I mean, it's performance zoning, so does that make a difference also?
I don't, I have no information on them taking up any access for a beach.
Yeah.
But then again, this is a,
I mean, it could be, I didn't get out and take a look at it, it could be a perched beach where you just put it on the grass and you leave the edge alone. So
Hard
it
to
could be,
say.
it could be that.
but I do know that they did come out. They had a special event to utilize outdoor seating for the remainder of this year till, I believe, end of September, October, November timeline.
Yeah.
Then I believe they were told again this year that next year they would have to seek a possible planning board approval to, if they wanted to keep that long-term or use it different other than what they've got so far.
Right.
They would need to seek another planning board approval to modify their existing approval. Currently, again, they came out last year for the special event, came out this year. Again, they were told this year that next year you're gonna have to seek a different way about this.
Right.
Unfortunately, I didn't know about the porta potty either, so.
I mean, it's very nice back there. They have, they kind of have a bar that's open, like, so they have the top floors that you walk into, but then this is like down behind, it would be, say, like the basement level, but it's like an open bar there that's just like open air that people can sit at, and then I think they can probably take their food and drinks over to next to the water. So,
From a zoning perspective, it is in the UC zone, so the restaurant use is zoned. As for any other approvals that are attached to that, you may have to seek the files downstairs, so. Yeah, I'll work with the gang tomorrow on the porta potty, I believe.
Isn't that up gradient of the drinking water intake?
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I think it is.
yep.
Depends on the lunar, the tides, the wind, depends on a lot of things, Dean.
That is the way the water flows
It
there.
is the way the water flows.
I didn't want to be the first to say it.
And with that porta potty, I have to say, it is a downhill gradient too, so even if they get it past that 33 feet,
I like the across the street approach.
well, I'm not sure that's gonna fly, that'll be McDonald's.
Why don't they just go into the building?
That's what I was gonna say, can't they just use the restaurant, like,
Yeah, I don't know if it's because maybe they've had
maybe they
events
keep
out
it
there.
separate, or,
They've had events out there and it's closer for people, I don't know.
cause as far as the docks, like, I would assume they had docks there before, cause it was a marina.
Mm-mm.
No, it was a car dealership.
Yeah,
Before that, though, it was,
For
wasn't
Irwin,
it?
They did not have the amount of docks they have
was it?
now.
Okay. Because I think before that, it was being used by
Yep.
Anchor Marine or something.
Yeah, the one next door, the Watermark Marine there.
No, it was.
It was, you're right,
The
it
one
was
next to.
like some boats
It
were
was a
in there.
different, yeah, it
for a
wasn't
while,
Watermark,
but-
but it was a different,
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I just assumed they had docks back there. I mean, I didn't actually, I was never back there, obviously, but
Me either.
yeah.
I guess I just
Sheltered
assume if
lives.
something's on the water that there's docks.
Last time I was back there was still Burger King, so.
Well, they had docks.
Yeah,
I believe they did.
They did, yeah.
yes,
My
they
sons
did.
are
They had-
really, yeah, my sons are really excited when we get in a boat and go over there and,
But that was Watermark, right? Burger King is where Watermark is
Right.
now.
Right,
Yeah, yep. Yeah, yep.
and the condos.
And the
Okay.
condos, yeah.
anything else?
I think that's all.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, so under other business. Scott, did you go to the planning board meeting last night?
No, I
I
don't think
did not.
he was not.
Counselor Cheney was there and brought up the issue of the vegetation at Pearly Pond.
Okay.
And I don't know specifically what vegetation he was talking about, but I think it was the vegetation between the road and the pond, not the vegetation on the, as you
Okay.
face
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
pond, not the vegetation on the right-hand side.
So the roadside, not the natural buffer side.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said that the vegetation was blocking the view of the pond.
As you go, yeah, as you come down the road. This is something he brought up to me during my interview also.
Mine too.
You
He-
too?
Yeah, he's very concerned about it. And, he said as a younger person, he would come down there and it was always really pretty and you could see the pond and, I told him that the area has changed. I mean, they built the Bean Conference Center behind there. There's a lot more traffic on the road. So, the reason that we had asked Parks and Rec to keep some buffer there was, specifically to help that filter the road runoff. And he understood that, but we were trying to reach a compromise as to cutting off maybe the top of it, leaving so that from the road he could see the pond. So,
Yeah, this came up a long time ago. And when it first came up, we talked about doing it and we talked about trimming it. And, as Deb said, we talked about preserving the buffer to filter runoff from the road. And, I thought we had a good understanding of what, so I think, I went by there the other day and I think there's at least one tree that is fairly large. And I think it would probably be a good idea to cut that tree. We don't have to cut it completely to the ground, but to cut it off so that it stops growing, because if we get a big tree growing on that, in that area, and we get a big windstorm
Yeah,
with a lot of rain, we
Yeah.
could wind up with it ripping, falling into the pond, and then it would undermine,
Yeah.
damage the roadway. We don't want that.
well, case in point, just a few short weeks ago, I believe it's 3 weeks now, directly across the street on Blueberry, a tree did fall, crushed a car, so,
oh,
in a
wow.
residential, single-family home. So, case in point, trees in that area
That didn't make the
are
paper.
large, old. So, with that, my only suggestion there would be to seek out the parties involved, maybe develop a conversation, narrative of what the ultimate final vision is, and maybe move forward with that, to say, this person expects this, conservation wants this, what's the final cake look like?
Yeah, and I think that,
I never see it, cause I'm always 10 and 2, straight down the road.
I called Amy Levisick today to see if the Parks and Rec crew could trim the vegetation and when, and then, but she's on vacation. I don't know how long. Oh, I do. She'll be back on Tuesday. So I think there are two things. One is,
Yeah,
what are we, how far down are we gonna trim it, and who's gonna do it?
yeah. And so the roadside is an issue of its own, and then the tree is an issue on an opposite side. So it looks like there's two focal points here, the vegetation in the road edge, and is the larger tree opposite the big tree?
No. The one I'm talking about is, I think it's a maple tree. It's about this big a diameter,
Yeah,
and it's growing in that kind of like hedge that's between the road
okay, so
and
it's
the
all
pond.
in that strip.
Yeah, right, and it's, I think if we cut it down now and keep other larger trees from growing there,
Yeah.
that would be good for preserving the
'Cause
roadway.
Once that root system established, it's gonna,
Right,
Yeah.
and who knows? So, okay, so
yeah,
between now and the next meeting, I'll talk to Amy, and, because she's on the planning board, so she would have a feel for what the planning board, or, I think, Counselor Cheney is a representative from the council to the planning board.
yeah, cause he's on council as a councilman, and he is a rep at planning board as well,
Right.
so.
So Amy would probably have a better feel for what he's looking for and what she can do, and then we can,
Yeah, there has to be
Have a
some way
conversation.
to bring all the parties together to see
Right.
what the true want is, from an efficiency standpoint.
right. Yeah, we've done this once before, as Deb said.
Yeah. But, yeah,
Okay, I don't have any other business. Do you have any, Scott?
let's see, I have nothing to report, let me just. Something else. Just that RFP note, for the NRI.
Good. Thank you.
I did have one more question. So I heard through the grapevine that the King's Grant Inn had been sold in this is Guilford, it doesn't really affect us, but, I was told by someone that they're gonna put 100 condos up there.
Where's King's Grant?
So it's up, how do I explain
The
that?
end
Yeah,
of
it's
White Oak.
Just
Is it White
north
Oaks Road?
of the access road that cuts through to Meadowbrook, the back way. If you
Okay.
pick, Lily Pond Road,
Right,
there's a back access. And it was at the egress point where that road meets, what is it? The one that-
11C?
11C that
I think
becomes
it's
Endicott.
11C. It's
So-
one of those 11s.
Okay.
Yeah, I never know which one's which.
And it's that giant piece of land there.
Yeah, it used to be an inn years ago.
Yeah.
It looked
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
big Swiss ballet kind of thing. It was.
okay.
But if you were at, where the entrance to the Guilford Town Dump is,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if you went up the hill towards 11, like you were going to the Weirs,
Mm-hmm.
at that stop sign, that piece of property on the right.
Okay,
It's been off and on for sale for years. There was a big sign out there for a while. but 100 condos is a lot.
And that's.
I'm not sure, yeah,
That's what's being vocalized out there in the,
that's what I heard, and I didn't know if you
I've
knew
heard,
anything.
I've heard nothing,
Yeah.
so I knew that it was in bankruptcy, then I knew it was out, and then I knew it went for sale, and that was, the trail went cold for
It would
me there.
surprise me if Guilford would allow that many condos, but I don't know,
And it, depending on what it's zoned for, hard to say.
right? Anyway,
Have you seen anything about, what is it called, the Surf Coaster on the corner of, what's going on there?
Currently, I feel nothing, but it may be under new ownership.
So somebody's been in there cleaning out vegetation. When I went by, it's right there in the corner of White Oaks Road and.
Yeah, there's two lots that are
Clemency.
combined that I feel make up the old Surf Coaster property.
What'd you say?
Yeah, we did, I had noticed that the last time by. So, again, I haven't seen any proposals or what they're planning. It's an older site. There's a lot of water park stuff still there. Again, until I see something, I can't
And-
comment.
And there are a lot of boats that are stored there. A lot,
Okay.
whatever that means.
oh,
That's
in
a-
the parking lot?
Yeah,
Ah,
I believe, you know, whoever owns it now may have to look into what is there. Is it theirs? Were they storing it? Was it the prior owner? You know, depending when the sale happened, we'll see what's to come. So it is, something's happening there. I haven't seen what is gonna be the finite product.
okay, okay, but you're watching it, so that's the important thing.
When I turn left or right at the end of White Oaks, yes. I am. But, yeah. for
Glad
me,
you look
it's-
both ways.
That one is tough. So, yeah, there's that
Make a
one.
decision, do it fast.
Well, I'm either going to Meredith or Guilford. So,
Okay, anything else? Jen, what's going on in your neighborhood?
Nothing that I'm aware of. Same old, same old.
So, what's going on at Taylor?
Well, news just came out the other day that the Comcast is going to start encroaching into the campus, starting from Cottonwood Avenue area. I don't know, it gets in and then whether it'd go down Kinsman or down the Taylor Home Drive. But anyway, I don't know what the implications are for construction or upset, but it's coming.
Yeah, I didn't, I saw that notice and then I was like, oh, I saw all the utilities were marked out on the road and then when I heard the notice, I was like, oh, now I understand. So they must be, so they're gonna do it in stages, right?
I guess, yeah.
they don't use the same lines? I thought they used the same line.
know.
I think they probably wouldn't let them.
Oh,
it's, having had it done just recently, switching from Breeze Line to Xfinity, the line is twice as thick, but it's flat. And it's different, not gonna lie, it's different. I haven't had any problems though, 0 problems since switching.
Well, with my Breeze Line, it is absolutely predictable that there will be outages at any time of day, any day of the week.
Do you know
You
the last
watching?
time I had an outage? Right before I switched to Xfinity. And that was right, because Breeze Line, you know, it's tough. So,
That's it. You don't give good service and you charge the same amount. People
'cause
don't
the,
like that.
Super Bowl was on that night and the cable went out. so,
Ouch.
yeah.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
okay. Any comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.